Hi go-getters, welcome back to the channel. Do you know that there are some agricultural business ideas that they don't want to share with you? And I've been asking myself why. Because remember on the channel we are talking about empowering Africans, right? So there are certain business ideas and especially agricultural business ideas that I have noticed that a lot of people are keeping those secrets to themselves. I don't know why, I don't know what their reasons are, but to me I just think it's unfair because the money that these farmers make from their farms is alarming, and this is something that I would love us to tap from. All right, and always remember that here in Africa we have a big advantage over other continents, for we've got vast unexploited land available for us. So these business ideas are those business ideas that you are going to be needing huge pieces of land, but that are very, very profitable. And the two most important things about all these business ideas that I am going to be giving you in this video is the fact that these products are highly exported and have very little competition. So I would love to share them with you, and if you really find value in it, please make sure to share with as many people as possible. For the more we empower Africans, the greater Africa will be. So without wasting much of your time, let's get straight into the points. Now, the first agriculture business idea I am going to be talking to you about here might actually shock you, but it is a very lucrative one, all right? Have you ever thought of tree farming? This is something that really does exist and is very, very lucrative, because this is not something that is done in a small scale. Tree farming is always practiced on hectares and hectares of land, and this is something that has very little competition, for very few people actually grow trees. And you know, the tree farming sector is very lucrative because there is very little maintenance compared to the other farming structures like maybe crop farming and animal farming. So you've got every advantage investing your money in tree farming than these other farming methods. Now, when we talk of tree farming, like I said, we are talking of farming trees in a large scale with the aim of producing things like cardboards, timber, and simply wood. So for the most part, those who get involved in tree farming actually practice a monocultural farming system. That is, they have their little monoculture forest where they cultivate a particular species of tree. So we have as example things like eucalyptus, mahogany, Christmas trees, bamboo. You remember I talked about bamboo on the channel. There is a video where I detailedly covered bamboo farming. So if you're interested, check it somewhere here and also in the comment section as well. Now, another way you could go about the tree farming is to actually involve yourself in just the nursing, all right? You could either raise the trees till maturity and start selling them or harvesting them, or you could as well specialize in just the nursing of the tree plants and selling them out. Now, this business is very, very lucrative. For the timber, once you grow your eucalyptus or your mahogany, you just get in contact with the timber merchants or the companies that use timber, and they do the felling themselves, because the good thing with this business is that you aren't necessarily the one felling the trees or harvesting the trees. So your clients are actually the ones doing the harvesting. Now, when it comes to Christmas tree, you know how much Christmas trees sell during the end of year, that is the December period, right? And here in Africa, there is this culture of people wanting to have their Christmas trees in their home. So if you are one of those who is involved in the nursing of those baby trees, I would advise you nurse a lot of Christmas trees as well, because a lot of Africans love to have at least one Christmas tree planted right in front of their houses. So this is something you don't want to joke with. Do you know, goal-getters, that the global market size of tree farming is actually estimated this 2024 at about $361 billion. Can you imagine? And is expected to reach a whopping $498 billion by 2033. And mark your timber is something that is highly exported, right? So imagine the money you can make from this farming structure. Now, there's this other business idea that I have noticed that people don't want or don't like to talk about. It has to do with herbs and medicinal plants. Yes, these farming methods are very lucrative. You know how much people buy medications nowadays. People need medications because unfortunately more and more diseases are coming up. I don't really know why, and as you know, due to maybe at times our feeding and everything that is not really proper. So a lot of people have disease that they want to cure, and consequently the pharmaceutical industry makes a lot of money from selling drugs, and those drugs are actually made from herbs and some other medicinal plants. This is a business sector that if you inject your money in it, I am pretty sure that you are going to come out a winner. Now the thing is, the few people that are involved in this farming sector don't really talk about it. They want to keep it to themselves. But you know, goal getter, that I've always got your back, right? So I am going to give you some key essentials that you need to know when it comes to this business structure. Now with this business, you need to be keen on identifying those plants or herbs that are very important in the pharmaceutical sector, or that are important for things like supplements and natural remedy. You could target things like ginseng. You've heard of ginseng, right? Ginseng is very, very important in the pharmaceutical sector, and also for home remedies. You've got things like turmeric that is also used for a lot of home remedies and supplements. And last but not the least, you've got the moringa. You remember I made a video on the moringa plant on the channel, so I am going to link it somewhere here. You can watch it after this, for I gave you every detail you need to know about the moringa plant, how it is grown, and its medicinal value. Let me rephrase it. To succeed in this business, you need to focus on the plants that are very important for supplements and home remedies, and those plants that are much needed by the pharmaceutical companies. Now the next farming idea that people don't really talk about, but that is very, very lucrative, especially here in Africa and in India, is spice plant farming. Now it is no news to you that African food is so spicy, and even the Indian food. And the good thing with this business is that it is something that you can greatly export, as well as the herbs and the medicinal plants. All right, it's something that you can equally export. Even the timber you can equally export. So basically all the business ideas I am going to be talking here about have the advantage of the fact that you can export them easily. And you know, anything that you can export actually brings more profit. Now let me give you some examples of those spice plants that you could actually cultivate. Now we've got things like white and black pepper, chili pepper, vanilla, curry leaf, thyme, ginger, bay leaf, cinnamon, curry leaf plants, and many more. So goal getters, those are examples of spice plants that you could actually cultivate and make a lot of money in Africa. And one advice for you is that you could as well go ahead to transform these products to finished products. So we are talking here of value add, right? You know, on the channel, if there is one thing that we constantly promote, is for Africans to embark on value addition on their primary products. That will enable us not only have some level of independence, but also enable us make more profit on our produce. Now goal getter, at this stage, I believe I deserve a like if you really find value in this video. So do well to like this video so that you don't forget, for it helps us grow. And also, if you don't know, liking our videos indicates to YouTube that we are doing something great, and therefore enables YouTube to promote the video more. Remember that the more Africans get to be educated on some of these things, the better Africa will be as a whole. Now on to the next on our list, we've got snail farming. Snail is something that a lot of people love, alright? Despite the fact that I don't eat snail, but I've seen a lot of people craving snails on at least weekly basis. I've got this friend of mine that can't last a week without eating snails, and I've seen more and more people coming up with new recipes, nice aesthetically pleasing recipes of snails, and even restaurants now have snail dishes on their menu. So snails are consumed more and more, and that's why if you join the snail farming sector, you're going to be making a lot of money. The demand is high, but unfortunately just a few people actually produce snails. Now the thing with snail farming is that you will need to be a little bit patient, because snails take averagely 2 years to mature depending on the species you are producing. Talking about the species, we've got three main types of snails. We've got the sea snails, land snails, and freshwater snails. So you just choose according to which one your environment consumes more. Do your market research and know which snail is actually appropriate or is most loved in your area. Now, if you want to export, you will do as well your research and know which one is actually highly consumed where you want to export it to. But generally in Africa, the most eaten snail is the Cornu aspersum species, also known as a brown garden snail. A lot of people love that snail. For I don't really know why. Like I told you, I don't eat snails, but I know a lot of people who eat snails. And if you check, you're going to notice that that snail species is actually a land snail. So Africans would rather go for land snails than the sea snails or freshwater snails. So basically, do your research, do your due diligence before investing in this business. Now, if you don't know, snails, contrary to what a lot of people would think, is very expensive. So if you invest your money in this business, you're going to be making a lot of money in no time. Do you know that here in Africa, for instance in Cameroon, a kilogram of snail will cost about 15,000 francs, which is something like $32 or so, and a lot of people are actually buying. So if you didn't know that you could actually produce snails, go getter, now you have a golden business idea in your hands that you could exploit as soon as possible. Now, last but not the least, we've got the greenhouse farming. So this is some farming method that a few people have started in Africa, and it is actually worth the investment, for the profit margin is so high. Now, to begin with, I would advise that if you are going for the greenhouse farming, do your market research in your area first of all, and actually get some deals with supermarkets where you are going to be supplying your produce, literally meaning that they are going to be your primary customers. Now, the rest you could actually invite the general public to know that you actually grow organic fruit and vegetables for them. That goes to say, I am advising you to do organic farming, grow organic fruits and vegetables in your greenhouse, and let people know that you've got them. Now, you might be watching this and maybe you don't really know what a greenhouse farming method is. Now, this is a farming method wherein the whole farm is covered with a transparent material and the crops are grown under controlled environmental conditions. Tomatoes, eggplants, and things like cucumber, for they do very well in greenhouses because they thrive in warmth. Now, the greenhouse farming method is very lucrative because you make a lot of profit on your produce for various reasons, such as the fact that external threats are actually minimized. This is because you won't be needing things like pesticides because the whole farm is covered, therefore making you have better yields and fortunately more money than your peers who will be cultivating the same crops in an open environment. Now, another reason why you will be making more money in the greenhouse farming than your peers who cultivate in the open air is the fact that your growing seasons will actually be extended since everything is being controlled. There is no room for external factors to affect your crops since it is covered and the climatic conditions are well controlled. Therefore, the heat trapped from the sun's radiation can't escape out, therefore leaving the greenhouse warm enough to foster plant growth. So, go-getters, this is an agricultural model that if you use to grow your crops, you will have a huge advantage over your competitors. That said, we've come to the end of our video, but I would love to thank our lovely subscribers who've joined the Go-Getter membership and have been helping the channel grow. So if you haven't joined our membership yet, feel free to do so, for we will be glad to have you on there. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.